Welcome my valued viewers. Recap of last week's sales. First thing I saw last week was Sony CyberShot camera. This was a purchase from earlier in the week, and it sold on the Sunday. Sony CyberShot DSC W55 went to the States, so they paid several, I don't know, maybe £20 or so more. It went for £46.95 plus postage, £51.15. Next was radio from Roberts radio in fact, R9993 white, got £9.49 plus postage, £13.69. Konica, this was the last one I showed you last week, a C35 EFP, 35mm point and shoot with focus free and still a good lens. So that went for £24 plus postage, £28.20. Last week I showed you I sold a brand new PS5 game for £13.95. Well, I sold another one for £13.95. Sony CyberShot. This is one of the cameras I bought in Walkington about 6 weeks ago for a £5, and it went for really good money. It went for £64.95 plus postage, £69.15, which was an excellent price for that. All four cameras cost me £20. So, and then I got I sold a PS2 game from my multi-listing. Virtually all my games are on multi-listings now, and I'm still constantly pulling off the odd one here and there that is a single, or like the Wii's. I recently took a load of Wii ones and put them on a multi-listing, and any more Wii games I find, in fact I've got some this weekend, did do some pickups on the car boot, but that's for later in the video. I also have what's going out, of course, before that. So yeah, that was a multi-listing, and I sold Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex for £5.99 delivered. Then there was the HP 305 2-pack of ink, black and colour, that I showed you last weekend as a pickup. It did flash up that it had been sold. Well, this is when it sold, £13.95, and yeah, that was delivered. Don't forget it came with 2 electronic Freeview boxes, and the 3 of them were together were £5, so I got plenty of money for that really. I could have held out for a little bit more, but I didn't. I sold it away, which was fine. Next is a stand. Now then, it's not really a stand, it's, you know those BT hubs that I had, and the one before that had 1 foot on. Well, it turns out the feet sell on their own, quite popular, and they sell for nearly as much as the whole hub. Now, you send somebody a hub, they expect a power supply. It also has loads of bubble wrap, and if you go and have a look at BT Hub 4 and BT Hub 5, you'll find loads of people selling them for £5 and £6 delivered, because they got them for free when they signed up to the broadband, which is fair enough. I understand that. BT doesn't want them back, sell them off. But because there's so many about, it deflates the price. It reduces to the point where they're just doing it for, I don't know, shits and giggles, as it were, not for profit. That's for certain. You can't sell something for £10 delivered, or even for £5 delivered, because I've seen them for £5 delivered, and make a profit. But the feet are in high demand because they're always falling off. Anyway, I sold one for £4.45 plus delivery, £6.65 for a foot. It's not even the sprung part, it just clips into the sprung part. Sprung part's built in, just clips in. Then I sold some of the board games. I started selling the board games that I listed a week and a half ago. Vintage Frustration, £12.95. That's not the delivered price, it was £17.15 with delivery. So that was, yeah, pretty good, considering the box was broken and I taped it up and you could see the corner was all damaged. But it was the 1986 version, quite vintage, with a pop-o-matic. Not the ones where you press the button, press the thing and it pops it from underneath. You press the middle and there's a spring. Corningware microwave white browning dish. This is the larger version, but it sells for the same price, but it's heavier. So I charge £8 on these. £14.99 plus postage, £22.99. Another board game, Monopoly Electronic Banking. It's basically the here and now box and rules and updated street scenes from London. Street names. It's the updated street names from London, updated money, and you use electronic cards instead of lots and lots of cash in the box. So that was £10.99 and postage £15.19. Next was, now I told you a couple of weeks ago about this Minolta Riva, showed you it was really nice. This is one of the ones I tested with film in my film testing video, how to film test a camera for eBay resale. I think he called it that. I think I called it that. I might have changed the title actually. Anyway, went for £30 and 3p, which was a bit of an odd offer. But postage on top, £34.23. Nice camera. Hope they enjoy it. Then there was a Manhattan Plaza FreeSat box. Didn't have a remote, so I sold it cheap. These are quite a nice machine, but it didn't have a remote, so it went for £19 and £4.20 postage, £23.20. But it only cost me £2, so I'm happy with that. Then there was a smart media card. I've got three left on that listing. Actually, I had 2 left, but I bought something. I had 1 left after this sale. I bought something this weekend and it's bumped up those, so I've got 3 left now, or 3 varieties: 4 megabyte, 8 megabyte, 16 megabyte, I think. Anyway, that went for £20.99 because they wanted special delivery to get it, like, for this morning, I suppose. Well, sometime today. 1 PM is the minimum, the latest, isn't it? They emailed me at Friday night, and no, it's Friday morning, sorry, and yeah, I'll send it out straight away. Oh no, I want it guaranteed to be there for Monday. And I'm like, well, you can only guarantee delivery on Monday with special delivery, and it's another £8. And then I never heard anything back, and they said, oh, how do I do that? And I'm like, it's in the checkout. All you do is you check out and you choose £8 postage instead of free post, and then it'll be special delivery, and that's what they did. But they waited until about 3:30. Luckily, I knew they were going to do it because they'd already said they were going to do it, so I had it ready on my desk, and I was just I'd finalised the post, but it mentioned they'd said we'll do it, and I said, well, if you do it in the next half hour, I can take it to the post today, otherwise it might not, get there for certain. So that's what they did, because obviously Saturdays you've got to pay another £2 on, or I think it used to be another £2 on top to be certain of getting it on the Saturday, but they wouldn't. I didn't even suggest that, because I don't have it built into me eBay. I don't think eBay does it actually. And then we're into what's going out today. What is going out today? A Sony DVP SR170. I'll put a picture up. This isn't very visually enticing, is it? But I do bubble wrap most of my electronics now, because stored together they're not scratching the tops by, scratching like the plugs or wires against the nice clean tops that I've cleaned. So £14. This is the difference between one that's not region free and one that is. This is £14 with a remote and plug, so it doesn't have a SCART, this one, and The other one was 17. I know it's £3 difference. The other one was an SR90. Okay, so £14 plus postage for £18.20. Not too bad. Ah yeah, this was next. My copper flask, which is also a foot warmer or bed warmer, I don't know. I put it all three in the title. And I also said to you at the time that I would polish this. But I saw that a few that weren't polished had sold. And quite honestly, you know, you still stood there for 20 minutes doing this and using up your own fluid and everything. So I decided against it, see if it'd sell. And if it didn't sell, then I would polish it. So, yeah, it sold. So I'm quite happy with that. £16 from £2. £16 plus postage, £20.20 pence. Then this sold, Harry Potter. This is the box set that I bought. Oh, it's only a week ago, isn't it? That was quick. £11.49 plus postage, £15.69. And then there's the one that's I've just wrapped. Kingston 1GB card, picture. SD card, £4.69. 85p in postage. Under £1 in fees. So about £3 return. Then there was this one. There we go. It's a video game. Rise, Son of Rome. The Xbox One. £5.92. Same sort of margin. About £3 because it's lighter. Because it's an Xbox One game and they don't have manuals, they are lighter. So this was £1.15 postage plus an envelope. So £1.25. Off £5.92 plus about 90p in fees. No, maybe £1.15. Actually, thinking about it. So maybe £2.30 out of the £5.92. That leaves me £3.60. Cost me 85p. That leaves me £2.70 odd. So it's not bad. Right, that's the end of last week's. Not as many sales as I wanted. I said to you I want to be building into the 30s and 40s, or at least up to 40, and I ended up with 19, which is less than last week, which was 22 items. There's the figure. Yeah, I know. 425.85. It's about £200 less than I want, as a minimum, really. As we're coming into the second half of the year, well, we're into the second half of the year, we really want to be building up to the sort of £700, £800 a week. And the only way to do that is to have more sales. And currently I've got, with the things going out today, I've got about 222 listings. It isn't enough. I need 500. So I'm going to have a concerted effort to put more listings on, and more valuable items that are listed. So not buying any fluff anymore. I'm saying that I bought quite a bit of stuff yesterday, and I've got that to show you in a bit. You'll find it interesting, I'm sure. Right, what else is going out? I've got other things to go out today that are from this week. That's in yesterday and this morning. So another one of these bubble wrap things that you can't see what the bloody hell it is. So here's a picture. Grow clock. This is a sleep trainer and night light clock aid, power supply. £11.99 plus postage, £16.19. Yeah, not bad. I also sold. I've been waiting for another sale of these Seikos, which is great, which means I can list a few more. As I said to you, I don't want to put all of them on at the same time, mainly because a lot of them are the same models, and if you put 4 models of the same one on at the same price with similar pictures but not quite the same, people are going to be, oh, what's going on? You know, it devalues them, and maybe an offer on one and not an offer on another. No, I don't want to do that. I'll put one of each model on, you know. Which means, of course, if you've got 5 of the same model, which I have in a bag just there to the left of the camera, then they've got to wait. Doesn't mean I can't photograph them and put them in a cupboard and make them wait, but currently I haven't photographed them yet, so they need photography. And in the meantime, see, this is the more expensive one. This is the more in the meantime, this is the more expensive one. I've got my fingers over the name and address there now. This is the Seiko 6100, which was mislabeled when it was sold on eBay. It also had screen errors, and that's one of the reasons it was cheaper, but I got it considerably cheaper than it should be, specifically because the person had put that it was a 3100 and it wasn't. It was a 6100. So that's in a VHS case with some bubble wrap inside, obviously. $56.99 plus postage, $61.19. Pretty pleased with that. That's the third one I've sold for that price now. None of them in the box or with manuals, just working. Pleased with that. Next was, oh, I haven't got this out, just a minute. Only put these away yesterday. No, earlier on today. I put these away earlier on today when I wandered about and walked up about 6:30, looked out the back window, and the garage door was wide open. I'd forgotten to come and lock it. Luckily all the lights went on, because otherwise it would have cost me about £3 overnight, because these lights are still pretty high cost, you know, per hour. So this was 2 DV tapes from a camcorder I bought that was spares a repair. I actually haven't sold the camcorder yet. I think I might have sold the power supply, but those have just sold for $7.45 delivered this morning, which is nice. Only listed them yesterday. This sort of thing is fast as long as the price is right, and $7.45 for 2 is right. Obviously large letter in a bubble envelope like that. One of these will be, I don't know, about £2. Yeah, it's well over 100 grams this between them. So yeah, £2 including an envelope. So about £4 after fees and costs. Oh, and yes, another one of these. Let me just show you what I've got here. Router feet. There we go. I know it's daft, but those routers, whatever you want to call them, the Wi-Fi hubs, selling for £5 and £10 delivered with a power supply. I can sell the power supply separately for £5 or £10. So you could sell the router and the power supply, or the power supply. You've got 2 things to go wrong: more bubble wrap, a bigger box, or you put the power supply in some cardboard, roll it round, put it in a plastic bag. They're pretty undamageable really, apart from say somebody chewing through the wire, and you get the same money. But I've also got £6.42 for this. That's including delivery. Out of the £6.42 there's about £2 in fees and postage and envelope, which leaves me £4 for that. I know. I'd rather have £4 for this than £6 for the 2 electrical things that I've got to bubble wrap and take to the post office as an extra parcel when I can just drop this in the post box. So that's going out first thing. Well, that's going out this morning as soon as I finished the video. And it's raining again. This is why I've got my sweater on, by the way. It's cold and it's wet. Yesterday was really nice, and had loads of stuff from the car boots. Now I've shown you everything. Oh, by the way, that's £91.25 up to now this week, which is, you know, it's not brilliant, but it's only 4 things and it's not too bad. I've sent loads of offers out. We'll see what happens. This is one of the offers I sent out earlier on, 20 pence off. So yeah, I think actually I had it at £4.49. It went to £4.22 plus postage. So yeah, I'll show you what I bought. Just a second.
3 hours later.
Cave. Not bad at all, in fact. Very busy. Once they'd arrived, I was there before most of them arrived, which was great, because, you know, the best stuff is the first stuff. So we'll go through and I'll tell you what I got. First thing I bought was, well, it's not all in order, but this is the first thing I bought. Dad's Army DVD box set for £2. It's very nice, but it's got a bit of shop soil in there, and it's sealed. Apart from that shop soiling, it's very nice. It's not a lot, maybe £6 delivered, maybe 7. I got from the same stall 2 video games. He was like annoying in that he said, oh, all the games are £2 each, and I'm like rummaging through them, and the first one I came across was a boxed with manual version of Wii Sports. I opened it up, the disc is absolutely perfect, and I'm like, oh, £2 each though, £2. Anyway, I rummaged through a bit more and I found another Wii game, can't remember what it was, and fairly valuable. So I put these together in my hand and I put them to the side, and his wife nudged him, and it's like, oh, and he came over and he says, oh, I don't think those Wii games are meant to be in there. He says, she's put them in by mistake, those are our lads. There's nothing you can do. It's not like Trade Descriptions Act. You just say, fair enough, mate, here you are. Okay, so anyway, I said to him, look, there's no way these are worth £2 each. All the rest of it's just so PlayStation 2 and an Xbox. So he said, oh, well, I said, I'll give you £1 each for these 2. Ridge Racer 5 and Time Splitters 2 on the Xbox. And he took the £2 for those 2, which was okay, but I was a bit disappointed because it was Wii Sports. You know, it's a guaranteed £8 or £9, and yeah, I would have had to pay up £2 for it, but it was in really good condition. And there was something else, I can't remember the other one. She didn't have much on her stall, the next person I stopped at, and I saw this, which is nice. Casio TV600, it's obviously retro, you can't use it, it's digital, but it's analog signal receiving. So yeah, you can use it if it's got an an RF input from, say, a video game, and you've got an RF output. Even the PlayStation 1 had RF to start with, but then it went to RCA. I do have some RF adapters, so it is possible to test this. I have the bigger version there, if you can see that. I mean, it's obviously been bought to use, and when I say used, it's probably been turned on a few times, but not used to watch lots of television, you know. These were meant to be, you could watch the highlights while you were at the cricket and things like that. They never worked properly. And also, they were quite dim, the LCDs, when they first came out. That, by the way, because the size of that screen you saw was the biggest LCD they did. There wasn't such a thing as LCD TVs apart from handheld ones when these came out. That I got from a car boot a couple of years back. I haven't sold it yet. It's a nice display. And that one, I don't know. I will sell it. It only costs £1. And when I bought that one for £4, I got the power supply thrown in. Casio branded. So that was nice. Off the same woman, she had 2 trays of video games. And I said to her, how much are they? And she's like, £1 each. You know, she wasn't expecting a great deal. And I said, you know, can I have a discount if I buy a few? And she's like, yeah, no problem, you know. But they're all pretty much bog standard, so I started rifling through it. And she's like looking over to see which ones I'm looking at, and I'm thinking, I won't even rifle anymore, I'll just look at the titles rather than show what's worth. You know what I mean? I've had it where people, they want you to pick out the good stuff and then they overprice it. So I didn't. I just said to her, how much for the lot? And she's like, £1 each, like I said. I said, well, you said you'd give me a discount. And I said, I normally give, anyway, I'd counted them up back then. Gone through them one at a time, counted them up. There was about 74. And I said, I'd normally give like 40 or 50 pence each if I was buying this many. And she says, oh, right, how many are there exactly? And I'm like, 70-ish. I said, you do 35, and that's 50 pence each, straightforward, and I won't go through them all. And, you know, some of them are going to be scratched, and some of them are going to be missing bits, and there's a few missing discs. And she's like, no, I can't do that. I said to her, would you do 40? But that's all they're worth. Because there's a lot of work in sorting them out. And she's like, alright, then I'll do 40. So I've got this entire bag full. There we go. I won't go through each individual one. I did actually go through each individual one earlier. So there's 28 Xbox games. This is not the 2 I just bought, by the way. That doesn't include these. 28 Xbox games, such as, that's actually one of the ones without a disc in. I've put 2 spare discs from Halo in there. There's 4 games, there's 4 without discs in, but they've got manuals. There's quite a market for manuals. I'm not sure whether I could be asked with photographing the front of every manual and putting them on a multi-listing, but you can sell them, and they sell for just as much as the single discs these days. So there's 28 Xbox games, and there's only a few standout ones. You saw I just bought Time Splitters 2, and that's about a £5 game. Well, there's another Time Splitters 2 and a Time Splitters 2. So that's 3 Time Splitters 2, and there's a Time Splitters in there as well, I think. Burnout 3 Takedown, that's a great game. You just go around smashing things up. Some snowboarding games. Very little in the way of sports. This is one of the reasons I enjoy, or rather thought it was a decent bundle. 2 Rock, Fable, Silent Scope Complete, which is an £8 or £9 game. There's Crimson Skies, which is pretty rare and is probably going to go for 7 or 8. Project Gotham Racing 1 and 3 and 4. 2 Rock Evolution, which I already actually own myself. So there's quite a few more, but I won't go into every single one. Then there was 27 PS2 games without any football. No football at all. No wrestling either, but never mind that. Time Splitters 2 in the PS2, which is good. Another Ridge Race 5. Silent Scope, they were obviously into their shooting. Star Wars Starfighter, some real nice games. 187 Ride or Die, which is pretty rare, but unfortunately it's not very valuable either. which is surprising. Actually, it's had a really rave reviews. You basically defend your block with your black market weaponry. I think it's based in sort of street crime and street racing in LA or something. I don't know exactly. The worst game ever made. You know when they say the worst game ever made by Atari was E.T. Go Home, and you're just basically running them about and then you go down a hole and that's the end of the video game. I have actually played that back in the day, and it was a pretty bad dire game. This is the second worst game of all time ever. If you ever see this, don't buy it. Just don't. There's no explanation needed. So that was that. There was 6 Wii games, and these are they: Raving Rayman Rabbids 2, Sega Bass Fishing, Tomb Raider, Red Steel, not so good, Trauma Center Second Opinion. There was a fad for that a few years ago, and it was like going for really silly money, but it's gone back down in price. And Mad World, which is I don't know whether it's a shoot 'em up or an adventure, but it's all in black and white by the look of it. I've never played it, so I might have a go at that. I think you wield a chainsaw in it, which might be fun. Yeah, bloodbath challenges, great. So there's those, and then there was 4 box only games I've done, and it all adds up to 70 with games in, and there's a few disc only. There's 9 disc only, but most of them have got manuals, and some of them are going to be fairly valuable. You know, Silent Scope 2, SSX Tricky, Weld, Super Police, Killzone, Need for Speed Carbon. I think there's 3 or 4 Need for Speed games, but it's not a bundle, it's like a mixture. So yeah, but no sports at all. So the person who had this collection, perfectly, exactly how I feel about sports games. Actually, when I say there was no sports, Virtua Tennis 2, but there's no disc in it. So I'm just going to move this back because it's right in the way. It's even more in the way now, but that's only when I want to leave. So next was Canon camera. This is a PowerShot A810. 10's on alright. This is a bit sticky, the zoom in and out. It was very sticky, and I think it was just because it hadn't been used in a while, but it's working now. I'm just going to probably give it a slight clean with alcohol into the grooves. Things in it were sticking. It's working now, back and forward. I've worked it back and forward a bit. Anyway, it's working fine, and it's as far as I remember, it's got a memory card as well, 8 GB. I said to the woman, how much do you want for that? And she's like, a £5. And the way she said it was like, I don't really want to get rid of it. It's got a cable as well, and it's a little bag. And I said to her, would you take a little bit less? And she's like, no. Okay, I'll have it for a £5. Actually, it is 20 megapixels. Oh no, this one's 16 megapixels. So I accepted it for a £5. And on the same stall though, they were just putting this out, and its compatriots, Santa lava lamps. I had to have them. Santa and Snowman glitter lamps. They're not really lava lamps. They're battery powered, and there's a little starer in the bottom with some LEDs, and it stares it, magnetic starer, stares all the lava around, well, the glitter, and then lights up different colours, and they change colour from red, blue, purple, yellow, green, and back again. But yeah, I know, £1 each. Now the red one, which is Santa, oh no, I tell a lie, it's the snowman. The plastic top is loose. It's come off the bottle. And with lava lamps it's like hot, so they have to come off. But it's meant to be glued on, so another job for that super glue that I bought. That's, you know, this is why you have it. I'm trying to not let my coffees go cold today. I've already warmed about 3 up in the microwave. So that was good. So the camera should sell really well. It's in excellent condition. As soon as I've made sure that zoom in and out works perfectly. It's nothing to do with the lens, it's the actual switch on the top. Those, they say Christmas work sells all year round, so I will attempt to sell them middle of summer, but I'll attempt to sell those. I have no idea what to price them at. I've looked for them everywhere, I can't find them. Tell me in the comments if you've seen them and where. But the fact is they're not on eBay, so yeah, I'm going to price them up and see what happens. Big bag of sockets. Yeah, I was walking along the stall, and actually when I pick this up it's going to fall apart, but it's basically, this lot it's all the sockets out of the house that's been rewired, and we've got some out of the garage as well. We've got single sockets, double sockets, light switches, lights, the cooker switch, the thermostat, the entire house. I am going to take my time to get this over there now because it's falling apart and I've got to be careful. I don't want these all over the floor. And then I'll come back and do something else. Right.
A few moments later.
Oh yeah. Another camera. It was one of those days where, you know, I've complained about not being able to go out and find stuff from householders who were getting rid of their stuff, and this was like nothing but householders from what I was buying. Fujifilm FinePix 2300, and as you can see it says it's got an 8 and a 16 megabyte card, and so I opened it up and it did. I said to her, how much is it? And she's like, a £5. It had an 8 and a 16 megabyte smart media card in the top. Anyway, I started digging a bit further in because obviously that's what it runs on, smart media, and it smells of tobacco, which is a pain. Anyway, I'll see if I can't get it working. One other thing though, when I opened this and I took the manual out, underneath the manual there was another card in its retail packaging, like they'd bought it to use with the camera, except it wasn't the right type of card. It was an XD card, not right for the camera, so never even opened. In its retail brand new packaging, a nice H512 Fujifilm card. So yeah, premium. So I said to her, would you take £3? I know it's worth a £5, but I asked for 3 anyway. And she said, yeah, I'll take 3. What was else? It was, as you can see, each day I've been bundling when I got to the stalls, a big bundle of, well, it was already being sold as a bundle, but a bundle of sockets, bundled all those video games. I bundled up the camera and the where is it? Like this camera and the snowmen at the same stall. And then I bundled 2 more cameras. Actually, I went round, as I say, I always go round twice. At the same stall I bought this Dad's Army earlier on. They'd put other stuff out, and I got 2 more things from them. This I saw, and I thought, oh, is it one of those cases where there's nothing in it again? And I picked it up, and I'm like, it's got a dimple in the back like it's for a sat-nav, and it says case logic on. I think it's a sat-nav case, but inside it there's a camera, which is nice. And somebody had just looked at it and put it down, so I said to her, how much is that camera? And she says like a £5. And I'm like, okay. So it's a Exilim, that's the Casio, Exilim H5, really nice condition. Somebody's looked after this really nicely. I don't know how it's got in this case. Like I say, it's got that sort of dimple and shape to a sat-nav or something. But this is really nice, and I charged it up at home, but it's working fine. We don't need any of that. It's asking me to set the date. There we go. And it's zooms in and out like that. But this has got a really nice big screen, you can see. There you go. This is, where is it? 12.1 megapixel with a flash and all that business. Auto focus, auto shutter. Takes its shots. No marks on the back. Really nice condition. And well worth a £5. I mean, but I just got one with like loads of memory cards for £3. Let's just turn it off. So, as I said to you, and it's got 8GB card, so I knew it was well worth a £5. So I put that to the side, and I'm like looking out to see what else she had on the stall that I could like bundle together, because I was in that type of mood. And I came across this Canon. Obviously it's not anything small, it's video camcorder. Unfortunately doesn't have the power supply, which is a pain. I mean, I could get a power supply, or I could get a new battery and test it. There's the battery. This is a Hammer, H-A-M-A, replacement battery, but it does have its original battery as well, but often people only bought one when the original battery went, so that might be duff. It's hard to know because there's no charger. What I can do is use my multi-charger, my charge anything charger, and charge this up. Haven't managed to do that yet though. Somebody asked about it. In fact, I'll pull it up now. Somebody asked about it in the comments of one of my previous videos, and I sent him a message, and he was very nice in his reply. From a guy calls himself eBay God, which is nice. He said, thanks for the recommendation. He says, thanks for the recommendation of the CamCaddy battery charger. It's actually the CamCaddy 2 that I bought on Amazon. You told me about the other week. Got one and it works great. So excellent that is. I'm always glad to help if you have a question or anything like that. He'd asked what make I actually use, because I found it really useful to have one. And it was recommended to me by somebody on Instagram actually. Anyway, this camcorder's got a tape in and 2 other tapes. You need power to it in order to open it, and I don't know whether it's working or not. There is another pocket, and I thought maybe there's a power supply in there, but no, there's just a couple of cables. Neither of them are power cables. That could be actually, but it's not attached to anything, so I would need the actual unit it would attach to in order to charge it, or a battery charger. So I'm going to try charging that battery. Anyway, I said to her, how much is this? And she's like, a £5. So I asked her if she'd take 8 for both of them, and she did. This is 4 recessed LED deck light type of things, but actually I don't think they're deck lights. I think they're for, you know, if you have a cabinet and you have display things, these are what you display with. LED, that screws into the top, or the shelf above. You got your LEDs there, and then there's an extension cable, and those run on 24 volts. Let's put that back. There we go. There's 4 of them and an adapter, a mains adapter, but it doesn't have a plug, but I've got loads of plugs. Here we go. So if I ever get a display cabinet, or maybe the shelves that I'm putting my stock on in my garage upstairs can have some lights. And as it says £3, I offered her 2 and she accepted that, so that was nice. Yeah, I like this sort of thing, because once you've got some shelving you can have some lighting. This is only temporary until it's sold. In fact, I might pack it away to look after it until it's sold, depending. It's only been up there a week or so, hasn't it? I got 2 off the same stall as the lights. I got these 2 willow tree figurines, £2 each, but I offered 3 and they accepted that. This one's got this these wired angel's wings. I don't like them, but I don't like anything about these. And they're a little bit grubby as well, because you can see the like they've rubbed against things and they've got a dirt. But I think I'll be able to clean that off. There's a bit there as well. But they're not chipped or anything, so it's just a matter of trying to clean them up without rubbing the paint off. So those were £3 for the 2. And then I saw another bundle opportunity. First of all, I can't remember where I got these, but they were £1 for the 2 of them. 2 inks, 21 and 22. I think they're for the same printers. Yeah. Here's another bundle. There you go. Saw a guy selling cameras, mostly cameras, and pounced. It's the only way I could put it. They had other things on the stall, but yeah, he knew his camera gear. And first of all, I saw a camera that somebody was looking at, and he took it away and he was like fiddling with it, trying to turn it on, and then he put it down, and it was a really nice, it was an Exilim, as nice as the one that I just had, but it was 20 megapixels, a bit newer. It was silver, really nice, shiny. And I said to him, how much is that? And he's like, $7.50. Very specific. And I'm like, yeah, I'll have that. Can I just have a look? So he hands me it, and it's like really nice. It's got a memory card in, 5 gig memory, 8 gig or something like that, you know, maybe 4 gig, something like that. Not 5, because they do 2, 4 and 8, you know. And I thought to myself, yeah, that's great. And then I went to check the battery, and it wouldn't come out, because it just wouldn't come out. You press the button and they normally spring out because they're loose in there, and there's a spring to push them out when you undo the clip, and it wouldn't come out even when you push the clip. And I'm like, oh, have you got anything thin to push the clip so that it, because I'm doing it with my finger and it's holding it in. And he's like, oh no, I haven't got anything thin. And I'm like, oh, I've got my car key, I'll try that. And he tried it and it wouldn't work. I said, you got anything thinner than this? No. Anyway, I thought, I said the thing is, the batteries get stuck because they've expanded when they're old and they've worn out. And he's like, oh, okay. I'll take it apart. I'll take it away now. And he's looking at it. Anyway, I noticed a charger, and that was for something else. Can't remember what it was. For a camera. And I said, oh, can I have this charger? How much is that? And he's like, oh, that's to a camera I've just sold. Oh, okay. He said, oh, she might come back. I think it was in the box with the camera I just sold to her. So she might come back for it. I'm like, really? She won't even notice until she gets home. Anyway, I said, oh, fair enough. So he puts that in the back of his car. Anyway, I looked at the other stuff. I've got this. This wasn't in this bag. I'll show you this first. This is quite nice, but they're not valuable or anything. This is an Agfa family cine camera. It's designed for like kids to use or whatever. You pop the button there, and the back opens. You put your Super 8 cine film in, which was a cartridge, and it just drops in. And then there's a little arm that spins it round, and one that's sprung that shows you how much film there is left in it. Now these cine 8s, they're only, I don't know whether it was 8 minutes, the Super 8s, but I think it's something like that. But they show you 3/4 full, half full, quarter full and empty, or nothing left. And on this side it took a couple of double A's, and that's it. That's basically all you did. You pointed it. You could take single shots, or you could use the batteries to wind the cinema through to the lens. And there's a little autofocus auto thing there. Very simple, straightforward. You could put a light on the top. They're not expensive, like 9 or 10 quid. Anyway, I got that in its cover, which is nice. There you go, zip up bag really, rather than cover. I got this. He wanted £8 for this. Panasonic SDR S50, which I have turned on. There we go. I charged the battery up with the charger. It's got a charger, this one. And you can open that up, open the lens cover. As you can see, it's working perfectly. You can see me and I can see you. That's clever, isn't it? I can see you seeing me in there. You can see that, can't you? Amazing. And yeah, it's really nice. And it's working perfectly. And it's got a power supply. And it's got a memory card. And I'll turn it off. There we go. I can't remember what the card is. 4 gig. So well worth £8 is going through the back of my mind. But you know, I like a bargain. So, and I know that this isn't worth much. Like I said, we're talking about £10 delivered. So there's that. And then there's this Olympus. Olympus Camedia. Not a bad camera actually. I haven't had this one running yet. Let's see if we can put a couple of these batteries in it and see if I can get it working. This one does look a little bit manky there, so it might not run immediately. Let's turn it around. Let's turn that on and let's open it. Nothing. Well, that's okay. If it doesn't work at all, I can sell it for spares of repair, but I'll give that a clean with some vinegar. It definitely needs it. It's got corrosion on it. It's not rust. You can see from my battery, it's come off a battery, and so there might be some in the bottom of there as well. So I'll get a cotton bud with some vinegar and clean the contacts at the bottom. See if I can get that working. It's got a nice leather case, but it also had a 1 GB memory card, and I can't show you the memory card. Well, I can put a picture up. There you go. Yeah, it's one of the ones that I just put back into my listing, and when they sell, but they sell fairly quickly actually. So that's got listed already, along with the memory cards that were in that Fujifilm camera. They're already listed. Anyway, I got the 3 of them. He offered me £12 with the 3 of them, knowing that this wasn't worth much. He offered me £12 and I said, would you take 10? And then I tried to buy the other camera that he'd taken and put in his car. I said to him, look, I'm probably in a better position to repair it than you. I said, like, I'll buy it off you and you won't have to buy another battery for it. And he's like, oh no, it's alright, I'll see if I can get that battery out and charged. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine, yeah. You know, I'd have given you like £4 for it. And he's like, no. I mean, if something's working and you're going to sell it for £7.50 and you know it works, and then you find out it's not working and the battery's stuck, wouldn't you just take £4? But he didn't. He was quite adamant. I only asked the once, but he was adamantly replied, you know. So that was that. Apart from the best thing I bought there, which was, well, you know, last week I got a Rode video mic from the clearance that needs a battery in the back, a 9-volt battery, which is over there somewhere, for £1. It's worth about 60, maybe 50, I don't know. Anyway, got another one, but I had to pay up for this one. This is a shotgun mic, an NTG shotgun mic. There you go. With its wires, so yeah, it only needs one wire, but there's two here. They're both different. One's got tip ring sleeve, that's TRS, and one's tip ring sleeve, TRRS. And whichever you use, it automatically detects which one you're using and gives you the right signal for your camera, your mobile phone, your recorder, or you're looking straight at it, there's a USB-C there. You can plug a USB cable into that and plug it into your laptop and use it like that, and use the laptop to record. And I have done that with this and tempted it, and it works great. So I'm tempted now to keep this one and sell the other one that cost me £1. This one though cost me £22, and I'm looking at it at the time and I'm like, yeah, it's really nice, mate. How much did you want for it? And he's like, £25. I said, I'm not sure really. I said, can you do a bit less than that? He's like, no. He says, it's a £260 microphone. I'm like, no, it's not really £260. We'll do 20. Anyway, we agreed on 22. So, yeah, it's really nice. And actually, it's a much better sound. I'm not sure about the sound on the other one because I haven't got a 9-volt battery yet. I know it's been a week and I haven't managed to find one. I know that there's some there's one in my in this that I recently got out of the box. I have an older one that I was doing my testing with, but the battery ran out on this. It'll be fine once I find a new battery for it. I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and buy a couple of you know, Duracell 9-volt batteries. Anyway, this one works fine. There's a 9-volt battery in the back of this, but I can't be asked taking it apart with a screwdriver in order to test the microphone. Not when I'm using this on a daily basis. This is only a cheap one. This is old stock from when I used to sell retail. Again, I've still got loads of that stuff. I've only got maybe 2 or 3 of those left, and I normally open one when one goes wrong. So that's everything from North Cave. Not a bad haul, and that cost me £109, mainly because of the 2 bundles. The video games were 40 and the 3 cameras were 10, and then the Rode microphone was £22. So you know, it really added into what I normally buy, £5, £3, £1. But I didn't mind that at all. Good stuff. And so when I clear this lot, I've got some more good stuff to show you that I bought in Hull. So Okay, so just a second. I'm a bit frazzled. So, you know, traditionally I start with the first thing I purchase. I normally try to write in my book in the order I bought things, but today I'm going to start with the last thing I bought because it's awkward, heavy, and yeah, it's sat on a stool in front of me, so I can't get near the camera. So this was it. Last thing I bought was this box. It's a bit rough. That's the front, and you're meant to be able to see what it is. But you can actually read it. MI Mount It. It's a height adjustable monitor desk mount with spring arm. These are about 90 quid on Amazon. That's the only place you can buy them. I think they're like sort of Chinese import jobs. But it's really nice. I'll show you it. They've opened it badly, and that's why it's all taped up. And then he compounded it with some extra gaffer tape because it wasn't closing properly. But it is really nice. So this bit bolts or clamps, or you can bolt through your desk, clamp it, or you can spin it round and you can bolt it onto a wall. That is a cable cover. So it's sort of floating, hydraulic, sprung, and you can twist it either way like that. So it's, you know, parallel with the wall, or on the edge of the desk it would be pointing into the room. You can manoeuvre your monitor about, up and down, like that. And this keeps it in the same position wherever you put your monitor. That's a clamp that has a universal. So I asked him how much it was, and he says £3. Is that right? I'm like, yeah, £3 is fine, mate. I'm not going to grumble at that. And I didn't even try to knock him down to £2. I thought that was a bit of an insult, really, considering it was £90 worth. I did look it up first, and the only one I could find was on Amazon. I just looked at the barcode on Google. There wasn't any up for sale on eBay, and they don't seem to have a history of them. So now we're going to start with the first thing I bought. If I can find it. There we go. So the first thing I saw was this digital camera in a bag on somebody's stall, but they had the manual covering it up, and it says £5 on the manual. And then I looked at the manual, and it's all been scribbled on the back by some kid. Ben Yates, bad look of it. That's what it says anyway. Whoever that is. And inside it's fine. It's not scribbled on inside, but both sides of the front cover, I think I'll be selling it with a please download the PDF. Anyway, it's a Nikon Coolpix 8X. This is the 20.1 megapixel one. I was talking about a 20 megapixel one before, wasn't I? This is the one, and this actually has a Wi-Fi adapter kit where it can go to your device, which is phone really, or tablet, for Android or iOS, but not laptops, unfortunately. I'm sure I could probably get an app to work on my laptop to do that, but I've got a cable. You know, you just plug it in to the phone, to the camera, and then you can just download automatically. You know, if I had a cable that stretched all the way over to my listing table, and by the way, I have a power cable for this camera so that it's permanently powered, you don't need batteries. It's a pretend battery, and it just plugs into the base. And it cost me £8. They're normally about 15, but I waited until somebody was offering one real cheap on eBay and got it. Anyway, this is a nice camera. 20 megapixels. Takes shots. There you go. I press that. I just took that of you looking at me. Impressive, eh? Well, it would be if it was in focus. There you go. And I said to him, would you take 3? And yeah, he's accepted 3 off me. So there's a little AV out there, and as I say to you, it will Wi-Fi connect with a tablet or an iPhone, and it's got a charger It's a cable charger. It does it in the phone, in the back. It charges the battery in the camera, and an American adapter because it's one of those 2-prong ones. I'm fine with that. I don't see why you have to change the adapter every time you go across borders, but some people like the ones with the 3-pin plugs. I'm fine. They've included an adapter. So £3 for that, including a manual I can't really include. So that was my first purchase for £3. And then I got some wheelie brights, which I've already had a cable of these before, and I paid 50p for. These are green wheelie brights, and the idea is you put batteries in the box, and then you strap that to your wheel, and there's some little white cable ties, and you end up with lights on your wheels while you're cycling along, I suppose. Yeah, I've got those red ones upstairs, blue ones that were 50p a pack as well. Anyway, I paid £1 for the 2 of those. They're just something, aren't they? They might sell and they might not, I don't know. The next thing I bought was this, off one of the electrical guys that I regularly go to. Not the same guy as I bought one from last week, but this is Sony. But it's a Blu-ray, this. Blu-ray. And this one's a BDP S185 with a remote and an HDMI cable. That's what this is. HDMI. This is power. And that was a £5. So I didn't argue the toss, because, yeah, reputation and all that. With these guys who you see every week, who are selling loads of electricals, sometimes it's worth making an effort to haggle. I don't like to, I haggle. Bartering is where you take something and try to swap it with it. I don't like to point out people's mistakes, but I hear it all the time, especially on YouTube, where people are bartering for things. They're not, they're haggling. That's the end of it. It's just a pet peeve. Then on the next stall that I stopped at, I bought, I'll just put this to the side for a second, you won't see it yet. You won't see that, right? You won't see it. I bought one of these. There's actually 3 handsets. These are a BT 4500 and 4600. This is a 4600 Trio base, a 4600 Trio and a 4500 Trio and a 4600 Trio bases. And as far as I know, they're the same thing really. They're all 3, like I said, one's a 4500, but it looks exactly the same shape, same size, same voltages, everything. So I don't know why they've changed the number. Anyway, that was £2 for the 3 phones and the 3 bases and the main answer machine, charger base. And yeah, and on the same stall, this, which is what I said to you, you haven't seen it, Sony DVP SR370, and she had it that way up, and it looks unused, unopened, you know, brand new. And I look, oh, it has been opened. And she says, oh yeah, but it hasn't been used. So I opened it up, and absolutely pristine, brand new in the box, with a remote that's in a sort of sealed bag. And as you can see, the cable's never been touched and the manual's never been touched, and I did actually open the end of the bag and check it was the right one. Didn't really need to do that, But yeah, basically they've opened it, taken a look at it, and they've never used it. And so she wanted a tenner for that. As I say, I'd already bought the phones for £2, and I said, I'll think about that. Anyway, she had something else on the stall as well. Ted Baker. Really nice box, this. And I know what's inside it because I've had one of these before. Or rather, very similar. It's a purse. There we go. Patent leather. It's actually got a little bit of muck on it, this. But very little. It doesn't look like the person who had it actually used it. They just carried it about for show. So there's a little bit of surface dirt on this front and on the back here. This is all rose gold. And it's proper patent leather. And there's a bit of dirt here. Can you see that? That's from somebody's like membership card or credit card or driving license. This is a driving license window, and then you put your credit cards in here. And yeah, it's just a little bit dirty here, but when you open up the cash drawers, they've never been used. They've never carried any coins in it, and they've even got the foam in, you know. So yeah, a very careful cleaning, and then it'll be like new. It's got the new tags that they've taken off, obviously, but they've kept them, and it says £79. Anyway, she wanted £10 on that as well. But I got her down to £2 for that. £8 each for these. So I was, yeah, happy as Larry with it. At that £79, if I get 25 for the 8, it'd be okay, but I'd rather get 35 or 40. Last one I had was from a charity shop. I paid £7 and I got over £40 for it, so I was very pleased with that. I got this off another stall. It's another BT phone with just the base, and it's a charger, handset and charger, not the main base. This is from a trio, a BT 3510. And obviously it's got the power supply as well, but the handset's still got its little bit of plastic on. I don't know why you would have a phone that was a little bit of plastic on it and still have it. Anyway, I suppose it shows it's nearly new, you know, for when you come to sell it. So that wasn't bad. Ted Baker, the Humax. Ah yes, next was this. I saw both of these on the same stall, and there you go. And I inquired about the price, and he obviously knew that I was a reseller, because he said, what you be doing, sell it online? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. I said, do you have the remote for this one? Because this is Panasonic, and that's for Panasonic. And he says, no, I haven't got the remote. So I had a look at them both anyway. First one, it's a bit scuffed up, but it's a Humax PVR 9300T, and it's got, you don't need the remote, you can do all the functions with the buttons on the front, but obviously a remote is nice. And it's got a hard drive in this. This is a 9300T GB. I believe it's a 160 gig hard drive. I'm not absolutely certain, but that's what it looks like they are. I did look up the number, and they all seem to be selling as 160 gig. So I might find a remote for it. I've got some remotes. I've got one that's very similar to this, but it's like grey fronted. And then I looked at this, and he said to me he wanted, I think he wanted £8 for that one. He would have wanted £10, but it didn't have a remote. And then he wanted 25 for this one, which it's a DMR EX773. I actually have this one. that hasn't been tested yet. Over there, it also has a remote. The HDMI cable's the wrong way up. That's weird, isn't it? You normally have it flat at the top and dished at the bottom, and it's the other way up on this. It also has SCARTs and RCA out. And I think, yeah, it has an optical as well. So quite useful machinery, and figure 8 cable at the back. Got loads of those. So yeah, it doesn't play, sorry, it does play DVDs as well. It's a Freeview though, it records Freeview. I think this one's 500 gigs. It does have buttons at the front as well. And it's got a DVD player there. So yeah, it's very useful machinery. I do believe that they're either, I think they're 500 gigabyte, but I'm not, don't hold me to that. That's just off the top of my head. So in the end, because I said to him, look, it's the remotes, cost money for that, and you know, it's older. It's older. This Panasonic's old, but it's a Panasonic. You know, much more reliable. That Humax I'm not sure of. So he did try to sell me something else as well to bundle up, but it was non-branded. You know, it was like sort of Loop Lomax or something daft like that. And I'm like, no, I don't want to know. Just the branded stuff. And we came to 20 quid in the end for both of them, which, you know, it's not bad. It's not the best price I've paid for one of these. I think that the one over there that does have a remote, I think I paid £3 for. I'm not certain of that. It was 3 or 5. But to have paid, say, 5 for that Humax and 15 for this, it's quite steep if they don't work properly. But if they do work properly, that one's a 50 quid machine. That one's at least 30 with a remote, maybe 22 without. So my 20 quid's fairly safe. One or the other will work fine, no doubt. They might both work fine. Fingers crossed. It's like both reliable makes. I think all the stuff I bought last week and the week before, no, the last week before was rained out. The last few weeks that I bought electronics, there's nothing gone wrong, you know. As long as you stick to the good makes, like the Sonys that I keep buying, reliable, there's no problem with them. 95% of the Sonys I buy work fine, you know. This is why I buy Sonys. Talking about that, last purchase of the day, apart from my arm, yeah, all off the same stall. It wasn't the same stall all at once, actually. It was 2 purchases. So I bought this off a stall, and at the price it quoted and charged me, I had a feeling it was Yellow Light of Death. If you don't know, these were dead unreliable, these PlayStation 3s. My one that's underneath the TV at the moment is the 4-port original backwards compatible PS3 that you can play PS2 and PS1 games on. And yeah, it's really nice. I don't want it to go wrong, so I play on it fairly sparingly. And normally if it's like a PS1 game, I'll dig out one from the stock, and if it's a PS2 game, I do have a PS2 on the front of my table near the TV, so I can play PS2 games on that. The original PS3, which is what I've got, the backwards compatible one, has a PS1 system built into the hardware. But the PS2 is an emulator. The PS2 emulates a PS2. So when it goes in, it has to change over to the software which emulates the PS2, and that also means you have to wait for the handset to reset as a PS2 handset, and it takes time. And every time you start a new chapter or a new disc, or you put a new game in, it does the same. With a PS2, you plug it in, you turn it on, it starts. Simple as that. So that's one of the reasons I have it. But if you look, this is, I knew at £3 that it would be faulty, red, yellow, light of death, and it is. I tested it while I was resetting because I thought I'd check for certain, because I just assumed it would be. It does have a hard drive in, so it might be a nice big hard drive, you never know. But look at the front. This is what I bought it for. Mine's got scratches on. Look at that. I knew it was nice when I looked at it, but I do admit I've given it a polish. But look at that. Not a scratch on it. It's really nice. Well, there are scratches on it, but they're so fine, so small that it will. All I'm going to do with this is crack a little hole there, unscrew that screw, and take the top off, and put the top straight onto mine. For £3, that plastic there is well worth that, and it'll improve the look of mine so much, unbelievably. Anyway, that was £3. They're a heavy chunk, those. But it's one of the big things that Sony made that were really unreliable. You know, I go on about Sony being reliable, but those weren't, unfortunately. The later ones, okay. These, not so much. Anyway, I went back to his store later on and I bought this for £1. It's an XK10 gamers for gamers light gun. It's basically the same as a G-Con for PS2. It's got the adapter. There you go. And the bit that fits into the RF cable. It only works with old TVs, CRT TVs. So I don't know whether I can get it tested or not, but it's nice, isn't it? Anyway, that was £1, and I got a buzz set as well. This is actually the same length as these, it's just the way I've bundled it up. It was all just tangled up, I've tidied it up. And that was £1 as well. And that was the whole lot. Spent £56 in Hull, and so the whole lot was £165 in total. Any estimates that I did would be real just guesstimates. I have no idea what the arms, so I'm not going to bother. I mean, I didn't last week and you still watched the video. Which is great, thank you very much. Yeah, no estimates this week. One thing for certain is I won't be selling this, and that's one of the big margin things that I bought. I'll be keeping that. Thank you very much for watching. Anyway, watch one of them videos there. For anyone who's just joined, there's a back list of videos there that you might want to watch. They're really fun, and some of them are anyway, and some of them will show you how bad I used to be at this video business.